It is apparently strawberry season. And if a store is going to mark their strawberries for, you know, $1 a pound, I'm going to take advantage of that and I am going to make strawberry jam, at the very least. I am also putting in some strawberries in the freeze dryer so that I can save those for later. And this is actually the second batch of strawberries we've got, or probably the third. But I did make some strawberry lemonade and some variations on that, so keep an eye out for that. That video was probably last week, and then this will be this week's video. Welcome back! If you're new here, I'm Kathryn. I'm the Aerogarden Homesteader, and today we're making strawberry jam. I am taking advantage of the sale, but I will be sacrificing a little bit because I am heating up the house doing this. Now, I have the Ball Low No Sugar Needed Pectin. I'm going to give that a try. I normally use Sure-Gel, and I feel like it just calls for like the same amount of fruit as it does sugar. So that's a lot of sugar. So I have always wanted to try one of the low to no sugar, you know, pectins to see how it is. Now I have a chance. I have some. So we're going to give it a try, and we're going to see how the strawberries taste. And we're going to see how the strawberry jam tastes. Now, I am probably going to hit you when I open this drawer. I am going to hull up all these berries. I'm going to mash them up, measure them out. I need 10 cups. I am going to make the maximum the recipe allows for. Honestly, because I don't have room in the fridge for these, so they've got to get used. I put them in a pie plate. I got to mash them up and then put them in the measuring cup, then put them in the pot because everything needs to be heated up. I have 10 jelly jars currently on the back burner. Oh, this is not going to be easy. So everything is mostly prepared and ready to go. I might add just a small amount of sugar to this. It does say I can add up to ½ a cup. I probably won't add that much. I am making 5 times the amount. So I might add like a cup or something. It's more because the sugar, you know, the recipe I'm used to making calls for a ton of sugar. And the only one of them likes this jam, will be eating this. And I want to make sure that it's got a slight sweetness to it. It's not just the fruit. But to be honest, this fruit is really sweet. It is like peak ripeness right now. So that is actually why I want to take advantage of the sale and make some strawberry jam. I will also be blitzing this up with the immersion blender because chunks apparently are an issue. I also should probably have an apron on because I am making a mess. I feel like I ruined so many shirts by cooking. Just by cooking. Now this does call for unsweetened juice. I don't have any, or I do, it's frozen, so I'm not gonna have time to thaw it. This was kind of a spur of the moment thing. So yeah. I don't want to be delaying too long how long this takes because the later in the day it gets, the hotter the house is going to get. Well, one package, so 1 pound got me about 2 cups. So that's good to know. So I will probably need about 5 of these packages. Good thing I got lots. So this is actually the reason why I'm going to add a little sugar. It's because they're not all perfectly ripe, but they're really close. So this will help just offset some of that slight sourness that those can bring to the strawberry. Okay, there we go. Exactly 10 cups. Learned my lesson from last time doing the fruit peels. No, actually it was the blackberry jam. If you don't have it exact, it doesn't turn out as well. It doesn't set quite as right. If you don't have the exact amount, the set isn't perfect. Okay, so it calls for unsweetened juice or water which I didn't have. Well, I don't have the unsweetened juice, I have the water. So we're going with the water. I'm going to clean up a tiny bit because this is messy and sticky and I got it everywhere. Holy crap. Like, I actually got the squeeze out on the floor. Jeez. Okay, well, be really careful when you're mashing strawberries. Obviously a pie plate was not tall enough to contain the... Yeah. Okay, total mess. Okay, we're over here. My water is pretty hot for the jars. Now we got to move on to the next part. So I believe I need to stir in the pectin, combine fruit with fruit juice or water, and gradually stir in pectin. Okay. You can add butter if you want to keep the foaming down, which I might actually just do that. It's like 1/4 teaspoon. I don't know if that's like in total or per batch, but I'll probably just put in a little pat. And then I need to get, so as we determined last time, it's 1.5 tablespoons, even though they wrote it poorly, per batch. So I need to scale that up 5 times. Alright, well, there's my small bit of butter. Okay, let's get the pectin in. Okay, I did shake this beforehand, as it called for. Now we got to put in 5 times 1.5 tablespoons, so that's 1, 7, and 1/2. I'm going to turn the heat on. I'm going to get this heating up. In the meantime, I'm going to puree it, and that will get the pectin all incorporated as well. So I will mute this part, skip ahead, whatever. Okay, we're not going for a uniform puree here. I could have used a blender for that. I'm okay with a few chunks, but we just don't want the really big chunks. And this is probably the easier way than mashing it, personally. Okay, I'm going to give this another little blitz. I see a couple of pieces that were stuck to them. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Okay. Now, bring it up to a full rolling boil that cannot be stirred down. Then add the sugar if using it, and I will probably add about 1.5 cups of sugar. Here, let's give this a little taste, see how it's doing. Yeah, it's a little bit tart, so I think it will need a little bit of the sugar. It shouldn't need much though, because I can tell it's sweet. In the meantime, I'm going to clean up this mess. I will probably start processing more strawberries for the freeze dryer. Crap, I didn't grab my big spoon. It is starting to come up to a boil, but I need it to be a boil I cannot stir down. So right now I can stir it down. I have been sitting here stirring this almost constantly because I didn't want the fruit to scorch or burn to the bottom, which kind of means you need to sort of keep a really close eye on it, or put it on a lower temperature, which will take a lot longer. I am so close though. I will be, once this comes up to a boil I cannot stir down, I will be putting in probably I'm thinking 2 cups of the 2.5 it calls for. That way it will be sweet, it will be enjoyable for the kids, but I mean, we're talking 2 cups in 10 cups of fruit, so I don't think it's going to be overly sweet. Okay, I actually might be there. Okay. So I'm going to put in my 2 cups real quick. I need to bring it back up to a full boil that cannot be stirred down, and then time for 1 minute. There is an altitude adjustment for, I don't think it's for the 1 minute, but I do think it is for the processing time. But read your directions and make sure to follow them. Okay, This needs to come back up to a boil, and then I need to time it. Okay, I'm starting my timer. So unless the boil suddenly becomes more, I think that this is a boil I'm not stirring down. Okay, there we go. Let's get this processing. I am using squat jars, so I don't have to fill up my water bath canner quite as high, which hopefully means it'll come to a rolling boil faster and I don't have to heat up the house for quite as long. But, you know, still have to process for 10 minutes. Now, one of the things to note is in the instructions, it says it could take up to 2 weeks for this to set. So this is my first time doing this, so it may not be set by the time this video goes out. I'll just have to play that by ear. I do believe it was a 1/4 inch headspace. Most jams are. Let me see. I can put a tiny bit more in there. Oh, it's not much headspace at all. Okay, now I need to be careful. The jar is hot, and I need to wipe the threads, wipe the rim. There we go. Okay, fingertip tight, and back in it goes. So I was able to fit 10 of these jars in here. Don't know how many more I could have fit in because it was pretty tight. But since they are a squat jar, I could double stack them. Now the processing time definitely has an altitude adjustment, so make sure you check that out in your processing for the correct amount of time. Or there was actually an option for Enjoy Now, where you pretty much just put it in the fridge. I don't know if there was a freezer option. I grew up with freezer jam, and that tastes so good. I mean, it's so fresh. You're not boiling it, you're not really cooking. I think you had to bring it up to a boil, and that was it. Literally, that was it. But wiping the rim is also your chance to check for any chips, because chipped jars do not seal properly. I found out the hard way that some of my jars were chipped. Okay, I do give this a stir between just to make sure I am, you know, getting any chunks up and incorporated. It does start to skin over a little as well, so giving it a quick stir helps prevent the skin from really getting thick. Okay, those are my 10. I need to make sure I have at least an inch of headspace. Yep, I get an inch of headspace. Get my lid on, and I need to bring that up to a full rolling boil. So this, there is a little bit left, and I can scrape down the sides. There's some stuck here. So I am going to, what does it say for fresh eating? Maybe I will be able to enjoy some now. Refrigerate, jam, or serve immediately. Cool to room temperature about 30 minutes. Oh, okay, well, there we go. We're going to have a little bit to enjoy. Not now, but a little bit later. Okay, here we go. Let's see how much is left. Because it looks like it's pretty darn close to, like maybe half a cup is left. So I don't think it would have filled up a full jelly jar, but we'll see. Maybe once I scrape it down, I'll get a full jelly jar out of it. So I don't have to worry about the threads getting dirty. That's not too shabby. I got an 11th jar, and it's got like the inch of headspace. So obviously it would not have canned properly, but we can enjoy this. I can see if the kids like it. I can see how it turned out. I can already see that it is in fact setting up. I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of gelling up. Okay. I am going to reuse a lid because it doesn't matter. And let this sit and cool for half an hour, get that in the fridge, and I guess I can show you how it turned out. I don't know if this is going to be indicative of how it sets because literally the instructions did say that it may not set properly for 2 weeks after processing. Quick tip, keep in mind your jam can take up to 2 weeks to fully set. So, I guess we will see. But you know what? It should still taste good. Okay, I will bring you back and show you how everything turned out, at least the stuff that I am putting in the fridge, and then we'll go from there. The strawberry jam turned out beautifully. All of my jars sealed. It had a really nice set, and my kids have been enjoying it, which is always a bonus. It has a really lovely fresh fruit flavor, which, to be fair, this one was not processed, so I don't know how the processed ones will taste compared to this one. This turned out beautifully. I can't wait to try the ones that were processed to see if they are similar or not. I hope you found this video useful. This is the first time I have used the low to no sugar ball pectin, and so far I've been having great success with it. Check out my fruit peel video. If you are unable to get pomonas but you can get ball pectin, this might be a great option for you. I hope you found this video useful. Thank you so much for joining me on this adventure today, and I will see you next time on the Aerogarden Homestead.